Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to a very special presentation of Voice of Men 360 in collaboration with International Men's Day on this very special occasion of the observance of International Men's Day 2023. Our special theme this year is Zero Male Suicide. Before I go further, some news about our organization. First of all, my name is Dipchand Ramcharitar, and I am the Outreach and Development Coordinator at Voice of Men 360. Voice of Men 360 is a nonprofit organization founded in 2020 and based in London, Ontario, Canada. Voice of Men 360 was born out of seeing a tremendous need and stepping up to provide services to help, support, and overcome men and boys' life challenges. We are part of International Men's Day. International Men's Day has been serving for over 21 years and so far in 90 countries, that's 90, around the world, joined together and doing various activities regularly. International Men's Day follows 6 pillars, which is for the overall well-being of boys and men. We follow in the same footsteps. So we have a very distinguished panel of guests. And we also, that includes Honoré, the artist. Before I pass you over to Honoré, there's a couple of things that means a lot to us here at Voice of Men 360 regarding zero male suicides. That eventually is hopefully one day we will get to that. As unrealistic as it may sound at this point, that's our long-term goal. I have written a poem for this special occasion. So I'm just going to read it out to you right now. In the doldrums of a bothered mind, seeds of trouble we're here to unbind. With compassion and understanding's grace, we aim to lift the darkness from every face. Time to embrace vulnerability. Time to shed the facade. Time to ditch the social stigma for too long we've had. Let's come together a no-nonsense brigade to weather any storm, whatever price to be paid. Men are not utilities, neither some wooden entity. It's high time society discard the apathy and acknowledge and address this unjust catastrophe. As the healthier the man, the sounder the society. Now, in honor of all the fallen men who has unfortunately and tragically been gone via suicide, I would like to hold a minute's silence with the lighting of a candle. And if everybody who has a candle can hold it up, we can have this minute silence starting now.
So if you can stand up, guys, and then
we can all stand. Thank you all very much. It's over to Honoré.
All right. Thanks for everyone for joining us, as well as that moment of silence. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Honoré. I am a fine artist, an art teacher, as well as a mental health advocate. I'd like to express my gratitude being here today with such an esteemed panel. It's really nice meeting you all, and I hope to continue a relationship after this. I already know I'm going to be following some of you on the social platforms. So this is great. I'm glad we can all come together in community for this cause.
Kathy, I'll be down in a couple minutes.
Okay. So the topic today, International Men's Day, we're actually talking about zero male suicide. As it stands, 78% of males around the globe have been committing suicide, which is a real issue. How can we work through these issues as a community, like I've expressed? And I want to leave each of you with a question before I introduce you. Two-part question. How does positive masculinity look like and come into play on International Men's Day, as well as the theme of male suicide? What is the importance of that and the relationship to manhood and suicide? I'll begin by introducing you now, Rolando. I hope that's how I pronounce your name. So Rolando is actually a psychologist and a men's coach, and I want to hear a bit about more of you and all the things that you do, as well as those two questions. What does manhood relate to suicide, as well as what is the importance of the day to you on International Men's Day?
Okay. Thank you, guys. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Honoré. It's good to be here. Just by virtue of the introduction, I wanted to make a clarification, Honoré. I am a clinical psychology student at the moment. I'm a psychotherapist. Okay. So I don't want to bear that title as psychologist until I've completed that study altogether. Okay, I'm a psychotherapist over the past 12 years, registered with the Canadian Council on Psychotherapy Association, and I've been a practicing clinician for over 12 years, been in the life coaching space for over a decade. And I really love your question, Honoré, because being in the area where I've connected with men, there are so many different layers that men are struggling with as it relates to understanding how we can lessen the statistics of the suicide rate of men. And one of the first pieces that we may need to address is the cultural and the social expectations, because there is a mandate that has been handed down throughout the generation about what it really looks like to be man, to be masculine. And some of those things, Honoré, is in line with the idea that as a man, there are certain things that you dare not speak about or expose as it relates to yourself because it makes you look weak. So if we are going to challenge or let's say save more lives of men, the first piece that we want to do is we want to seek to redefine the meaning of weakness, because culture and society handed down to us a mandate that defines what weakness is as it relates to a man. And many of us as men, we have been running with that like an Olympic torch without recognizing that weakness is not as it is perceived or was perceived in the past. Secondly, is the topic of suicide is something that we don't talk about. There may be men or there may be women who are in the lives of men who have lost those men, and they thought it was a bad thing for them to ask them outrightly, "Are you thinking about killing yourself?" And there are many persons who believe that if you ask that question, it will sort of allow the thought to become more intense. We have to learn how to ask men these questions. Men have to learn how to talk to men about these things. And one of the first step in dealing with that is asking the question to the person in the moment, are you thinking of killing yourself? Finding out if they have a plan. Find out if they have access to the resources that could cause them to follow through with that plan. Are they have access to guns, to drugs? Are they planning to go drive in front of a semi or jump off of a bridge? And guys, we have to learn how to normalize these conversations and have these conversations with our men so that they can understand. Thirdly, is that there are some things, Honoré, that we do as men that we feel that if we don't do it, we're failing at fulfilling our role or wearing that hat. And so we also have to start creating more safe spaces where men can talk about this and recognize that, hey, you're not being judged, you're not weak, you're not failing. It's okay for you to do it. You mentioned toxic masculinity. I'll talk about that later on, Ray, but these are just the 3 pointers that I want to put in there as it relates to your question.
Thank you. I love how you talked about the societal pressures of what manhood is, what it looks like, and the stigma of getting together as a community and talking about these issues, these hard conversations. It's not easy. But together, you and I, Patty, Lynda, we can create a community with that positive masculinity. That's what I was referring to. And really take back that word and create a safe space for all men to come together to talk, whether you think your issue is catastrophic or very minute. We all have the same thing in common, that positive masculinity, and really pushing that positivity. Okay. Next up, I'll pass that answer. I will actually switch up the question a bit for Patty. So Patty is a fine artist. You can find her online on many platforms, PLBK_originals. And the question I have for you, how does positive masculinity come into play on International Men's Day? As well as, same question, what is the importance of the day to you?
That's both great questions. Of course, importance is I'm here. So that for me explains the importance because I truly would not make space for the commitment you have to the well-being of men, children, families if I didn't hear in your hearts an incredible strength and purpose behind what it is you're doing. So what I really wanted to focus on, and you've done it, is you really switched the definition of redefine weakness into defining strength or defining positive masculinity. As a visual artist, I meet all sorts of individuals, and as a community, if you like, designer, redesigner, I have a company called Create Good Inc., which the passion of that company is literally the mission is the name. People say, well, what's the mission? To create good. What do you do? Create good. What do you do today? Create good. What do you do tomorrow? Create good. What do you do all week? Create good. So with that as my passion, I would say I'm looking for fullness. And when I say positive masculinity, I'm looking for fullness and freedom in each gender. And I'm looking for it in children. I'm looking for it in middle-aged folks, young people, the building platforms underneath one another. So for me, that means what is it that I have in my toolkit and at my age that I can affirm in men and women that I see on a day-to-day basis, in young people as they're entering into scary and challenging opportunities. You know, we are surrounded by, some say, Chuck Swindoll would say, insurmountable opportunity. Sometimes all of us feel we can't get over it or can't get to it. I would say having come through surviving and somewhat thriving, they say I'm a poster child for domestic violence because I've lived through the frailty of masculinity. And my heart doesn't condemn, it aches for the fact that people would not feel their value is high enough to invest in themselves. So rather than looking at what other people are doing to me or for me, I'm asking myself as I look in the mirror, and I would ask all men to do the same thing. What is it that I can do to invest in myself? Because when frailties become our dominant feature, everything's in crisis. And that doesn't matter. That's not gender specific. That's true for all of us. And I find the greatest freedom for myself when I'm looking in the eyes of someone who is vulnerable. and willing to find who they believe in, what they believe on, and have a firm foundation for their own lives, so that when I join together with them, whether it's in projects or in friendship or intimacy, I'm coming at it from fullness where I stand already. And, you know, it's kind of crazy, but as we light a candle today and we remember, I want us not to blow our candles out when we join them together into one. I want the company of people to be in fullness, rather than feeling we need to diminish one another as we join together, even in unity. But let our common unity be a focus on well-being, and a focus on faith, and a focus on hope, and all things that are lovely and pure and gentle. And if we wrestle with anything that is not lovely, pure, gentle, or undermines our well-being, then how do we get the help and support we need? You know, they say those who go to therapists recover the same amount as those who don't. It is about finding the tools that work for us. For me, I've done a lot of different routes to come to wholeness and wellness, and including epic friends like Lynda Harlos on this panel.
Fantastic. I love that you were able to pull from your past experiences with that underlining community aspect to it. It really shows the growth that you have undergo, and I'm sure you incorporate that in your artwork, which I'm really looking forward to see and experience. So before we proceed, I'm actually going to read out some guidelines. We have a bit of housekeeping, and then I'll introduce the last guest, and we can really get into a discussion. So these are some of the guidelines that we follow. We would like to remind you that Voice of Men 360's mission is always delivered with good faith towards peace and harmony. The views and opinions expressed today in today's episode are those of speakers and do not necessarily represent Voice of Men 360. Our organization engages in discussions, forums to offer inspiration and create awareness of the issues of men who wish to overcome their life challenges. We are not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require that type of advice, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have any questions or concerns about today's episode or any of Voice of Men's content, please email us at info@voiceofmen360.org. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, we have Lynda. So Lynda is actually a type of educator. She is a sex traffic educator as well as an abuse prevention educator, wealth of knowledge. So to you, Lynda, I'll ask that same question that I did Patty. How does masculinity come into play on International Men's Day, as well as what is the importance to you?
Thank you for having me, first of all, Honoré. I appreciate being here and with such a lovely co-hosts here on this morning. And I'm so grateful that you guys are taking the time to show how much you care for your own gender, because I think that in and of itself is the first step to actually eliminating the need for men to feel that the only way out is to leave this planet. By doing what you're doing, you are offering men the opportunity to understand that you guys all go through this. You all have some thoughts and some feelings and some emotions that are normal, and it's okay to have those feelings, and that you need help to get through them. And so I'm impressed. I mean, the very first time I met you guys, the heart behind what you're trying to do for men is something that is groundbreaking, in my opinion. And I'm hoping you are going to be able to accomplish this and save men's lives, because it's really important. And it's really important for me because my life is surrounded by men, and a few of the men in my life have had severe depression and have had thoughts of suicide. And thank God that they didn't act on those, but it was because they had people, loving people, caring people in their lives that surrounded them and were there for them. And there's a lot of people who don't have that. And as Rolando said, another big of the problem is the masculinity umbrella you guys have to live under. and feeling like there are things that you can't say or things that you can't do. And in my line of work, sex trafficking prevention educator, I come across men who have been trafficked or abused and feel like they can't say anything because it makes them look weak. It makes them look like they're not men because somehow somebody got into their lives and abused them or used them. And women have the same struggle, but it's not as big of a masculinity issue with us. Obviously, it's not as much of a pride issue with us. We don't get looked down on if somebody uses and abuses us near as much as the males do. And then in my line of work, the other reason why they won't say anything or do anything or get it reported is because then their sexuality is also questioned, especially if they've been sexually abused or sex trafficked. Then people instantly think that they are homosexuals or bisexuals. And if they're not, then that creates another stigma for them that they're trying to deal with when it comes to the trafficking world. So I deal with men on a regular basis and the stigma that happens and why they don't want to say anything. And the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing here today is already the biggest step to breaking that cycle. And just keep it up. I'm so impressed. I'm so honored to be part of a group where you guys are doing everything you can for men. And I'll be here for you in any way I can in the future as well.
I appreciate that so much, Lynda. Thank you. I knew you'd be a wealth of knowledge and come at this topic with your experience, not only experience and your accolades. You do go in, meet people where they're at, and create that community and safe space, which I really enjoy about you. There's a certain type of personality trait, and I love that you're on a panel with us all expressing how you feel. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we do have another panelist who just popped on, Vivek. I'd like you to introduce yourself, and as well, I've been asking 2 questions. So today is International Men's Day. We are touching on the topic of male suicide. With that in mind, I would like to know what is the importance of International Men's Day, as well as what is the relationship between manhood and suicide?
Hey, can everyone hear me? I just wanted to, sorry, I'm late to the party. Can everyone hear me? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Vivek Mehmi, and I'm an artist, hip hop artist, predominantly on a healing journey. So a lot of my music comes from that space of the healing work I've gone through. And since it's been like 7-8 years, I was misdiagnosed with a fatal liver disease, and that really kickstarted my journey. I got into all kinds of alternative health modalities, spirituality, and at one point I lost all my hair. I lost 30 pounds. I had an extreme rash from head to toe, and I saw upwards of 20 plus doctors just trying to figure out what was going on with my life. And I think how it relates to being here and being present is it took me a long time to kind of weed through the darkness and weed through finding my path. And even like the reason why I'm late here today is because I've got symptoms flaring up with skin issues and things like that, where I just am not 100%. And I think the reason that I wanted to show up and come, even though I'm in this state and I'm not feeling 100% feeling great, is because that kind of speaks to your question, speaks to the message, is that there's going to be times when you're not 100%, when you're ready to give up, and you just have to tune in and say, this is happening for me. Not everything lasts. That's part of my message, is not all dark days will last. and that, you know, things can get better, because during this whole journey that I've been on, I've been able to accomplish so many amazing things with my music, with organizations that are doing great things for wellness and mental health. And, you know, it just goes to show you that we often get in this mindset that, oh, this is happening to me, it's happening because I've done this, or, you know, and I can assure you that that's not always the case. Sometimes it's happening for you so you can become stronger, you know, refine yourself. And I don't know, sorry if I answered your question, but I just wanted to kind of start with that.
Yes, you did. And hey, everybody loves a redemption story, and you, my friend, have one of the top ones. That's an incredible story. Thank you for sharing and becoming open, vulnerable. I know it's not easy to share those parts of your life, but truly inspiring. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
So that being said, I'd like to now share my story. I was raised in a kind of unconventional way. I'm adopted. So I have white parents who adopted me from Haiti. And growing up, it was really hard for me to fit in. I had identity issues. I never felt like I belonged, very different from the other kids. And that separation from my biological family, I always felt empty. There was always something missing. Walking around with identity issues from preschool, middle school, high school, and into college, I felt lost. Like there was no community for me. There was no resources for me. I had nothing. And what helped me cope with that fact that I had no identity, I tried to fit in, was my artwork, was connecting with people through art, expressing myself through art. My mother, who had raised me, she was an artist and my biggest inspiration. I actually went to college for fine art, and through there I was able to link up with different companies and organizations throughout the city of Toronto, where I reside, and partner with them to create art workshops for adults and children. And it continues to feed that emptiness, and I'm able to connect with like-minded individuals and get them to have a creative outlet that has helped me for all these years. And so now, fast forward, it's been 30 years, and my family, my biological family, actually reached out, and I am now reunited 30 years later with my biological family. Thank you. It's been a journey. It has been a journey. And now I have furthered my extension of camaraderie and helping people through artwork. With now, I'm a leader at an after school program, and these children are at youth risk. And so it makes me so full. This job is rewarding. Being here is rewarding, and teaching art to people who are just having trouble focusing at work, or just their personal life is going crazy. It's nice to finally sit down, get creative. It's therapeutic, and it's essentially therapy. Sometimes it's tough as men to just really fully express yourself, become vulnerable, open up. Through artwork, you can get it all out on the canvas, and then you're the day that sets the tone for the day. So I'm blessed to be a part of that experience, and blessed to be here with all of you. Thank you for listening. Okay, during this time, I would like us to connect with some of us, and I know we have like-minded individuals here. We're all connecting for International Men's Day, and I really do appreciate everyone's time, taking the time out of your day, your morning, to be here. I hope you have your coffee. Right now I'm drinking green tea. It's helping me out. I usually have coffee, but unfortunately I wasn't able to run out and get some this morning. How is your morning? coming along during this day, International Men's Day? I'll start with you, Rolando.
Morning is great, Honoré. When Sivam reached out to me and invited me to become a part of this conversation, Sivan, knowing my passion for male empowerment and healing, I have never had second thoughts. And I was looking forward to meeting everyone that showed up here. When I saw the flyer, I'm thinking, this is amazing. I couldn't wait. And so I got up out of bed this morning, with enthusiasm just to hear and make more connections as I myself, I've really been thinking how I can, connect with more persons to reach the community at a broader scale. So I'm really excited to be here. I think it's a great day, International Men's Day. I'm home with the kiddies for sure, and they too keep me going. So I'm great, man. I'm great. It's good to be here. I can't think of anywhere else that I would want to be right now.
Wow, I love that you just expressing yourself, waking up in the morning early, getting ready for the day. I definitely need coffee, but it sounds like you just need that eagerness and willing to start the day and be set up for success. Inspiring.
That's what I do, Honoré. I generate my own caffeine in the morning from my routine. So I just get going naturally. Just need to do my exercise, getting enough water in there, get a healthy breakfast. That's my caffeine shot. I'm ready to go, man.
Fantastic. And Patty, I'll now take it to you. I would like to know a little bit more about your art practice. You were talking about community and relating to one another with your past experiences, being a survivor. So on International Men's Day, how do you incorporate your self-expression, your experiences in your artwork? How does it help others?
Mm. Wow, good question. Okay, I would say, and again, thank you so much. What a rich environment, and my heart is deeply moved. I love what you're doing because it's not just affective, it's not in the affective domain of our emotions, but it's actually moving us to effective, practical frameworks of care and nurture. And so if I hang on the word nurture for a moment, I have come to realize I'm finishing a degree at OCADU, actually in Toronto, Honoré, and after 40 years, it's taken me 40 years to get to the finish line. And I've been asked by profs there, one of them in particular, are you going to do a master's? I said, it'd have to have practical purpose, like how to nurture a nation. That would be my question. And I suppose in many ways, I'm introducing that word, and I'm going to introduce another word called flourishing. Because for me in the arts space, I feel that I want to wrap my heart, limited as it is with my own blind spots and challenges. I feel like I want to wrap my heart and my home around people, what home is, to carry it with me. Whatever it is that I have in my space here privately, that I would take that with me where I go. So my focus is actually not the business of art, it's the business of people. And using art as a bridge to see them come to fullness. And I mentioned earlier about affirming everything that I can in people. So I look for me, I come from a background of Christian faith. So I look for the likeness and image of God in people, because no matter how much gets covered up, inside is this, if you like, this radio already tuned to receive frequencies of blessing and provision and hope and life. And my job is to really attempt to, not in any way to have a barrier between myself and someone else when we work. So I do shifting gears just slightly. I've done a lot of collaborative community creating, where I may create with 375 people, I may create with 200 people, might be 75 people, could be just 10. I create live at events and conferences, galas, in churches or sacred spaces of different kinds. And I'll often while I create solo a lot, I also do this collaborative process where people join with me and we go somewhere together. We can't go on our own. That has almost become a maxim for me, even when I'm creating on behalf of people. I see them, whether they're donors, partners, they're in the audience, we go somewhere together inside my painter's glove. I wear black gloves when I paint, so it's easy to picture. We go somewhere together holding this brush that we wouldn't go on our own, just like we're doing today. We can't just, we don't communicate in a vacuum. We communicate in relationships, right? So in that sense, that collaborative creating has created common unity. Again, building relationships with people. And if I might, just to circle back for a second, or a couple seconds, in the realm of suicide specifically, I remember at one point in time, as my marriage was winding down, spiraling down, I remember being in bed at night and having a suicidal thought. And I went, hold on. I actually just kind of shook myself. And for those who have that inclination or have had those thoughts, I shook myself and I went, whoa, I have to change my physical space. This is crazy. I don't have these. I haven't had a suicidal thought at that point in time. I haven't had a suicidal thought in 30 years. And if people, often I'll say to people, if you don't have a suicidal thought in your lifetime, I don't know who you are, but it's the ideation behind it. It's the activation on the thought. And I know others are more skilled to speak to that, but from where I'm sitting, I shifted my space. And the next week when I saw my then husband, I said to him, are you having suicidal thoughts? And he just looked at me funny because it's a big rig driver. I said, you're driving tons of metal down the highway, please. Because he didn't say no. I said, I know in our relationship, someone's having suicidal thoughts because I had one and I don't have them. I haven't had them in years, decades. So in that sense, I would encourage people to, apart from art, and it's living in common unity, right? Is when we do sense that, when we see that we do reach beyond what is perhaps a bit uncomfortable. And I just, again, in that case, I could only say, please get help. Please get help. And he's still alive today. And while the relationship wasn't sustainable, the person is.
That's great to hear. I love that you're able to have that creative outlet to connect with others who are experiencing discomfort, thoughts of suicide, and again, create that safe space, which is amazing. Not many people have that mental capacity to really join in and help people. So thank you for sharing. Lynda, I really like how you are able to go into these communities and really figure out what it is people need, have that personal approach, meeting people where they're at. My question for you is, how do we meet people where they're at? How do we band together and help people at that ground level?
Well, I haven't had my coffee this morning, so I'm a little slow on the uptake and trying to understand, nor have I had breakfast, which is my first agenda when I'm done here. But I can tell you the number one thing I do every single morning is before I get out of bed, this thought goes through my head. And it was something I had heard as a younger woman, and it stuck with me. And it is something that has kept me going. And it's the expression that when my feet hit the floor, I want Satan to be scared because I'm up, I'm doing things, I'm working, I'm connecting with people. I'm doing my part, whatever that is. And it's a little part. I have a lane, I stay in it, I don't venture from it, but I know my goal. I know what my job is to educate enough people on what sex trafficking really is, what domestic sex trafficking is, what abuse really is, why and how it happens, what makes us vulnerable, what age-appropriate consent is, and teaching people how to do that. Because if we can get people out of their vulnerable spots and let them know that they're safe to go somewhere and talk about those issues of whatever is making them vulnerable, they're less likely to get abused, they're less likely to get trafficked, and they're less likely to be suicidal. And it's all about connections. And Patty talked about what she does with some people, and I can promise you, Patty's a friend of mine, and I can promise you, this girl has a way in engulfing you, in just embracing you without even physically touching you most of the time. Her and I will still hug, but she just has that way about her. And she was talking about just connecting with people and taking journeys with them, and she does it so well. And it has taught me, just by being her friend, how to do that to other people, and just be there for them. Just be involved in their life. Ask those questions. Embrace them without embracing them. Smile with your eyes, and just love them. I mean, just honestly care about them as an individual, as a human being, well, no matter what gender. But today we're talking about men. And we as women, Patty and I, can do that without it being sexual, because we just care about human beings. And males are just a huge part of that. And as Patty knows, I have a lot of men in my life that circle me on a regular basis. I'm very, very, very blessed. I have a great husband, kids, brothers, and they are all amazing men. So to me, my heart beats for men in many ways. But the number one thing I truly believe for mankind, womankind, humankind, is just to honestly care about the next person that you meet. Literally just say one encouraging word. It takes next to nothing for us to do that. Next to nothing. You're standing in a line at a grocery store. Just say something kind and gracious about that person in front of you. That's all it takes. Let them be seen. Let somebody know that they were seen today. And for anybody who is listening, we see you. We want to connect. We want to be there for you in whatever way that is. And so 360 Men are doing a great job. You need to connect with them.
Wow. Superb. I love that answer. I love it. Showing up for people, listening to people, having those deep, hard conversations like Rolando was touching on, and just caring, taking the time out of your day and caring. Like you said, it takes next to nothing to listen to somebody, to give them that full undivided attention. Hell, it's free. You can do this for free. So that is extremely important, and it doesn't even take that much out of your day to create that time and that space, that safe space. Thank you for sharing that, Lynda. Lastly, Vivek. Now, again, like I said, your story, everybody loves an underdog story. I want to kind of take that question I gave Patty about creative outlet. How has having this creative outlet helped you help others through tough times, men's suicides possibly, or just going through a rough patch in their life? How has this helped not only yourself going through these troubling these issues that you experience, as well as helped others, your creative modality?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that, because it really is therapy. I mean, especially when you're going through the health system and you're not getting answers and things are taking so long to get any kind of clarity, any kind of breakthrough and improvement in your health. It's like you don't have anywhere to put those emotions and that kind of energy, because I've spoken with therapists, I've worked with healers, I've worked, you name it. And sometimes, as powerful as they are, like there's no real immediate resolve. Obviously it can de-escalate some of the tensions, but you know, if I'm having like a really intense inflammation or skin irritation, my hair is completely fallen out. It's not going to take like a week for it to get back. Right. So you need to find some tool or some mechanism or energy that you can just pour it into. And some of my strongest works have come from that, which I will talk about in a bit. Sivan was reminding me and let everyone know about. But to answer your question further, I think as I've been able to heal in certain parts, there becomes a knowingness and an inner knowingness that you have this resolve, you have this resourcefulness, you have this strength, and you cannot just keep that to yourself. You can't. That's why we're all here, right? We need to connect. We need to learn from each other's stories. We need to take, not everything is going to resonate. Excuse me, part of my issue is like my throat goes. And then when I get really excited, my voice really goes, which is kind of weird because I'm a hip hop artist. So go figure. And that's a whole nother story. Wait for the next podcast. But what I was saying is, like not everything is going to resonate, but little bits and pieces, right? We can pull little things from each other's stories and we can dive deeper into that. So as I've been able to heal, I've just been able to attract and work with amazing organizations. Obviously, Voice of Men 360, I've just recently connected with, but I foresee us doing more work together. And then other than that, I've done work with the Mississauga Arts Council, City of Mississauga Culture Division. I've done work with, there's an amazing organization called Workman Arts, and it's for artists with lived experience of mental health and addictions. And so to answer your question, I've become really active in that community where they give you paid opportunities to showcase your work, to perform your work, to teach. I've taught lyrics and vocals courses in that space. And the beautiful thing about it, excuse me, it's like this forum here. Everyone is open. Everyone is vulnerable. Everyone has been through something that has pushed them to the brink. So with that said, it's a really safe space, and it's a space where everyone, like Lynda was saying, is everyone is seen. Everyone's voice matters. Everyone is, is worthwhile and valued. So I'm really thankful about that. Sorry, my voice is going. I was gonna do a little rap for y'all about the song that Sivam mentioned. It's called "Save Me," and the song is when I was at my lowest. Going through that whole process. I guess we were in the middle of filming this amazing track, and it really speaks to that part of wanting to give up, but just hanging on for dear life, and knowing in your inner heart of hearts that there's something greater for me. There's a reason why I'm going through this, because I need to shed more light, or I need to send that message to other people. So I'll try and talk it out or do a little vocals, but the lyrics go like, sitting on this music for too freaking long, sitting on my hands, the feeling be going numb. I be wondering where last year's even gone. I weighed like $120, but I feel strong. Don't get me wrong. There's things that you want to prolong, like your date with death. Help me catch my breath. Try and catch a break. Try and catch a firefly in the night for my inner kid's sake. Hey, help me light the way. I used to fall with what they used to say. Now I won't sway. Anyhow, that's just a little sample. Sorry, my voice was gone out. I promise you, if you watch the video, it's a lot better than that. But yeah, that's the message. Try and find that inner light. Yeah, in the video you'll see like all my eyebrow gone off because, like I said, we're in the middle of it all. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope that contributes to the message today.
You'll definitely be getting 5 more views on this video after this call.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and I've got another a song coming out next week, a brand new one called Myself. And it's, again, part of that whole spirit of tapping into yourself to find that energy to overcome. And it's a great song for like working out and like pumping yourself out, finding inspiration. So that's coming out next week. And I've got a plethora of other songs on my YouTube. So if you need inspiration, please check it out.
We'll definitely be checking you out. Wow. Thank you. What an amazing story. I love how you've overcome, and continue to overcome. A question I have for you, though, it's a tough one. Who's in your top 5 favorite rappers?
You know, that's funny. I've been seeing a lot of that lately, right? You saw Andre 3000. He just put out a new song or an album. I haven't checked it out yet, but apparently it's not even a rap album. But anyhow, it's a tough one. Like, top 5. I don't even know if I can answer that, but Nas is in there. Who else is in there? Yeah, Nas. I take a lot of inspiration from Nas. I'm more of an old school guy, so yeah, I'd have to put Andre 3000 in there. And I know a lot of people don't like Eminem's content, but just his story as well as his lyrical ability. Got to put him in there. I might put Jay-Z in there. And there's got to be like an underground representative like that, like no one knows about, or kind of, I'm kind of on the spot, so I can't really think about it. But I would think about like someone like Shad. You know Shad?
I do. Great choice. Wow.
Yeah. I put Shad in because I don't know why, but he's just, authentic, and he's Canadian. I went to school with him, so gotta show some love.
Wow, no way. You gotta tell me about that story the next time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You want to share your top 5, Rolando?
No, man. I'm just excited for the energy that's in this room, man. I'm so excited. Thank you, Vivek, that I said I needed to sit forward in my seat to say this in response to a question that Sivam typed, which he says here is, what is your message on this special day for International Men's Day and Zero Male Suicide? And as I listened to Vivek, this is what I wanted to say to all those who you're probably watching this live or you'll be watching it recorded later. My message to the men is this: you matter. You matter. And your past does not determine your present reality. That's what I've got to say. You matter, and your past does not determine your present reality. One of my mantras, Honoré, that I want to leave on this platform is this: personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And Vivek, as you continue your journey every day, you have got to choose that lifestyle where you are constantly growing, because the storm that you're going through now, just remember this, that there's always a calm. It might not be forthcoming, but if you stick to it and you hang in there, you are going to celebrate at the end, because you matter. That's it.
Very inspirational. Thank you, Rolando. With that, I'd like everybody to share their final thoughts. I'll go in order from Patty to Lynda to Vivek. Patty?
Wow, thank you so much for the privilege of being in your space today. And
Patty, Lynda, Vivek.
Oh, I heard that. Wow, thank you so much for the privilege of being in your space. Boy, that's a weird playback. Did you hear that?
Yes, that was not planned.
Okay, we're okay then. Okay. So, yes, number one, I would say Lynda's already expressed that we see you, and others we see you. So to Honoré, Rolando, Vivek, Lynda, everyone who put this together with 360, I am honored to be here. I do believe in you. Thank you for having women present to be able to affirm you as men. And I want to see you come to fullness, whether you are young or old. Life does not end until we are, I believe in eternal life, but on this planet, we're not done until we're done. So whether you have 5 more years, 10 more years, 40, 80, 90, whatever it might be, I would say when we were created, we were made to live forever. And it's an important war. And you are worth fighting for. And if I could drop one nugget into your heart, it would be that you are enough. And in the arts realm, if you are able to connect, Vivek talked about the therapeutic realm. I talk about art and care, using art in caring ways for yourself, for others. Because what happens is you touch transcendence when you solve problems, whether they're on a canvas or they're in a community. We touch something that's bigger than us. And for me, that has fueled my flame. And while theology frames it, creating fuels it. So I believe in you. Please seek support, seek relationship, be the one who sees someone else and affirm them. And in doing so, you will be affirmed yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patty. Lynda?
I can tell you, for the men that are in my life is enriched because they're in my life. And like I said, I've had some that have gone through very dark times in their life, been very suicidal, but they matter to me in every way, shape, or form. They matter to other people in their lives, to their own kids, to their parents, and it's so important that we realize the impact that men have on our lives, especially as women. The feminists kind of sometimes forget that important lesson. And I can tell you, my kids are the kids they are because of the dad they had. My kids are the kids they are because of the uncles and grandpas that they've had. And it's important that we don't ever take out one of the genders from our children's lives. They need both of us. And because I'm here on 360 today, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'm so impressed with what you guys are doing. I love the fact that you're not hiding under an umbrella. You've closed the umbrella and you are letting people be able to speak their truth about their vulnerabilities and be able to get help. And I just love the fact that you guys do this, and I'm honored to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynda. Honored to have you here on this panel. Vivek?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it brief because I know we have another guest here, and I feel pretty complete with everything I've said already and everything everyone's already said. Thank you for your amazing words. I just want to echo, like, everything happens at its right time. I think I'm a firm believer in that, and not all those dark days are going to last forever. There's going to be a brighter day. So don't give up. Please don't give up. That's the message, and lean into your vulnerability. I know as men, we feel like we can't speak of our emotions. I've seen that firsthand, growing up, and we're taught that we have to be strong and brave all the time. But sometimes we all need a good cry session, and we all need to express that, however that is, and don't be afraid to let those emotions out in whatever way and is conductive and beneficial for you. So that's my last message for everyone. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. And Francesca, welcome. Came in a bit later, but that's okay. We still have a question for you quickly, and then a final thought. My question to you specifically is, how can we work through these issues during International Men's Day of men's suicide? How can we come together as community and work through this issue?
What I'm dealing with, because I'm working on a men's mental health documentary, and it is so powerful. It's just literally everyone being there for each other. And if you see someone struggling, it's just saying, like, there's no signs. There's never any signs for suicide. And it's not, someone could be presenting themselves as absolutely fine, especially men. And all of a sudden, they've taken their life. So with suicide, the approach is just looking out for the signs that you wouldn't expect. It's research. It's literally research around that person. It's knowing them inside out. So for International Men's Day, it's kind of looking into your soul for the men, but for the women as well. It's analyzing the men around you. It's knowing what they're going through. It's asking questions every single day. Are you okay? But making it more about a general conversation, not out of the blue. Are you okay? Is there something wrong? Like, what's up? It's just making it normal to have this chat, making it a safe place to be vulnerable, and just making that the general kind of society that we're in. So the topic around suicide is still very raw, because obviously the numbers in suicide is something, 70% of suicides are men. And this is something that we're trying to get awareness for, raise awareness, work out why it is, and change the reasons. Not change, you can't change the reasons why, but readapt society to help lower the numbers, make society more aware to change it. So yeah.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, where can we find your book?
I don't have a book. I'm working on a mental health documentary.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I wish I could write a book. I don't have the patience for that. I think anyone who has a book able to write music, amazing, kudos to you. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Francesca Jex, Jex. I'm always on there. I'm sharing information constantly. That's how I met Savam. I'm always on there, raising awareness, connecting people, resharing amazing things that I think are beneficial to others as well.
I love your topic, Francesca. Hopefully, I'd like to chat with you about your documentary for sure.
Absolutely. Come on. I need more people. Come talk to me.
All right, fantastic. And with that, I think we can wrap up now. I do have to leave shortly. So, Savam, I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining. Some of them, it's such a short notice. Thank you, Patty. I know in and out, so we were back and forth. But thank you, everyone. Two things I want to share before we end this one. We are working on an initiative to starting International Men's Mental Health Team. So hopefully next year, beginning of next year, we can start. We can create somewhere, and then we can start on that. So we can serve more men. So we can save more lives. That's one. Second thing is that any ideas, any initiatives, anything that you can or we can work together, absolutely. Whoever is listening out there, please, all the panelists and everyone out there, with Voice of Men 360 or International Men's Day, you are more than welcome to reach out to us at 226-289-8784. Of course, info at voiceofmen360.org or voiceofmen360.org website. You can find us on all the social media, including YouTube, Voice of Men 360. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, page, group on YouTube. Facebook and LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. And also, just a last message to all of you guys, though, whoever is watching out there. Don't just watching as next one or, this is another episode. No. Of course, you're going to realize or you're going to think more on this day about this topic too. And also talk to somebody. Share this message with somebody else. So this way we can reach out more people and more lives can be saved. Just one last final thought for you guys, though, everyone. In the sperm, people say 2.2 million lives comes, but 1 or 2 try to come to this earth, and then they just want to do some kind of contribution to this world, to these human beings and everything, to this world. But ending in the middle of their life, it is not acceptable. So try to save. If we can save one life, we can save a lot of lives. With that message, we just want to say happy International Men's Day, and thank you, all of you guys. So thank you.
Take care, everyone. I hope to connect with you all.